Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of What's Next on Basketball Podcast. This is episode 6, and today we will be talking about day 1 of the NBA free agency. And, well, to say the least, day 1 did not disappoint. We saw a majority of the superstars get signed today. I don't know what to say. It was just insane. Like, off the bat, we had just crazy signings once it hit 6 o'clock. And, I'm going to go through every single sign-in, going to give my thoughts on it and how I feel about it, how I feel about how much money they got. Do I think this is a good fit for the team? Just stuff like that. So, let's just get right into it. Let's see what's next on the basketball world. Now, it wasn't even like 5 minutes in, and we immediately found Draymond Green signed a 4-year, $100 million contract to go back to the Golden State Warriors. Now, this is nothing new. We had heard from reports and rumors even days prior to free agency that the Warriors were going to sign him for $100 million. And, some people had mixed opinions on it. They had people that were like, oh, this is perfect for him. I think he deserves all the money. There were some people that felt like, I don't know if I would pay him all that, especially, with his age and him just getting older and older. People were like, is he really worth $100 million? So I'll say I think it was well-deserved. Draymond Green has been very loyal to the Golden State Warriors, and he has said multiple times he would like to stay as a Warrior, and I think he's just a great fit for them. So this was a very good decision by the Warriors. Now, I don't know. It's like he does deserve the money, but this really hits a toll on the Golden State Warriors because, the new CBA, which I do plan on talking about that and exactly. Hold on, what's this? Well, never mind. Something just popped up on my screen, but I will be talking about the CBA in another episode. I'll probably wait till after free agency to explain to you guys all the stuff, because there is a lot of interesting stuff that came from the CBA. I'm sure you've heard some points from it and what exactly it's going to do and what's happening with it, but I'll go into more I'll probably talk about the key points that I saw in the CBA, but like I said, that's a later episode. But like I was saying, the CBA, there's a certain amount that you can go over until you start getting punishments. I know one of the punishments is, I think for the draft, they might take some draft picks from you. You could potentially get fined or something, some stuff like that. I gotta go and read more about it, but that's kind of the gist of what will happen if you reach the amount of I believe it's the luxury tax. If you go over the luxury tax, that's when you get in trouble. So I'm just worried about that with how much money they have left over, especially with having people like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, now Draymond Green. I mean, they already got rid of Jordan Poole, which I guess makes sense why they did that now. What's this? Oh, here it is. I think this is it. The salary cap is 136. The tax level is 165. The first apron, I think it's apron, is 172.3, and then the second apron is 182.7. Now, I think it's the second apron where you start getting in trouble. I don't know if it's the first. I think it's the second where you really start getting more punishments on you. But yeah, there's that. So I'm just worried about that with the Golden State Warriors. Other than that, Draymond Green, perfect. Really great pickup by them to bring him back. Oh my God, I cannot talk. It was no surprise, I'll say, as well, that they were going to bring Draymond Green, because after trading Jordan Poole, and we know the situation between Jordan Poole and Draymond Green, it was no secret that this was then going to lead to Draymond coming back. But yeah, good pickup by Warriors. Next up, we had Karis LeVert, who had signed a 2-year, $32 million contract, I guess to stay with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I don't know how I feel about this. Karis LeVert I explained it, I believe, in the last episode, where Karis LeVert reminds me of RJ Barrett, where they're just both very inconsistent. And do I think he's worth that money? I probably would have paid him like 25 mil. I don't know about 32. I don't know. It's just he is a good guard. Hopefully he can just get better, and he has been pretty okay with the Cavaliers. Actually, let's check his stats right now. Yeah, he averaged 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He was 43% in field goals. Yeah, nothing too crazy by him. It's definitely not his best numbers. His best numbers were like back when he was like in Brooklyn and his first year with the Pacers. So hopefully he can get back to averaging. I think there he averaged like 20 something, almost 20 points being there. So there's that, but I don't know. I feel like it's a little too pricey for me when it comes to Karis LeVert, but hey, good job on him for getting the money. Obviously, I will say this. If I'm a player, I'm obviously going to take more of money if that's what they're giving me. If it doesn't matter what I think. Like, I'm not going to go there and let's say let's say I'm a decent player and most people would say I'm worth like 25 million, but they are like, oh no, we're going to give you 50 million. I'm not going to look at the organization and be like, oh, I don't want this because I don't deserve no, I'm going to take the 50 million. So yeah, of course these guys are going to take it and good on them because that's more money for them. But me as a fan, just looking into it as like looking into the organization and their decisions, I don't think that was a really good idea. They could have used that money for something else, for more signings of other players that they could have gotten, but hey, they did what they did. We had Drew Eubanks. I'm just gonna say Drew Banks. Drew over here, he agreed to a 2-year deal with the Phoenix Suns. That was the first signing by the Sun. What the heck? There's an ad. Why is there an ad? Get out of here, ad. I apologize. You guys might have heard that ad. Why are they doing ads here? Come on now. Anyways, let's look back at this here. Yeah, but like I was saying before I got rudely interrupted by ESPN here, they signed this guy named Drew. I don't know much about him and, well, what he does, so I'll just say, I'm sure it's another signing they're trying to get because they really need bench players, the Suns. Yes, they have a really, really good starting lineup. Oh, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. I know this isn't like a signing at all, but I will say this. From as of recording right now, Damian Lillard has requested a trade from the Trailblazers. Yes, that's right. This just happened like a few minutes ago, from what it seems. He requested a trade. Wow. Okay. That's very surprising there. I can't believe that happened. So let's just, moving on from that. Let's head back on that. But yeah, okay, so Damian Lillard just requested a trade. So I'm very interested to see where he goes and who's going to want him. Obviously, a lot of people are going to want Damian Lillard, which is very weird. And we'll talk about that later because that goes into a player I'm about to talk about that just signed back with them. So yeah, Drew, that was good. This was very, very surprising. By me at least, Kyle Kuzma signed a 4-year, $102 million contract to stay with the Washington Wizards. And wow, I was just really shocked by this, to be quite honest with you all. I didn't think he was really worth that much, though Kyle did have an incredible season with the Wizards, because when he got traded to the Wizards from the Lakers, he had said always said like, yeah, he feels like he'll be fine. Like he needs his own team to lead by, and if he gets that opportunity, he can show everybody how good he is. And he did exactly that. I think he averaged. Let's actually look right now. Yeah, he averaged 21 points. He had 7 rebounds, 4 assists. He was 45% in field goals. So he did a pretty good job. So he really showed like, yeah, if you give, like you said, if you give him the opportunity, he'll do great. So that was good on him. Also, I think that is definitely a good decision by the Wizards because we all know that they're trying to do a rebuild. So having Kyle Kuzma, having Jordan Poole, at least I think they're still keeping Jordan Poole. So we'll see about that. Hopefully they do. So you can have like Kyle, Jordan. Who else is on the... I have no idea who else is on the Wizards, but we got that. Actually, let me look right now. I can look here. I know they got like some good signings in the draft, so that'll be fun to watch. Yeah, I think that's really it. No other players are going to be too crazy, but having a team led by Kyle and Jordan is going to be a very, very interesting. But moving on. Next, we got Coby White. He agreed to a 3-year, $40 million contract to stay with the Chicago Bulls. I guess it's fine. It's Coby White. I haven't really seen much of his game, and he seems like, a pretty decent player. So, I guess that's good for him. Next, we had Keita Bates. He signed a 2-year, $5 million contract to go back to the Suns. Again, another player for their bench. Damian Lee also signed with the Suns here on a 2-year contract. So, yeah. Damian Lee is a pretty good player. He's a very good bench player, I would say. That was definitely a good pickup by them. I can't wait to see how he does, because he was already on the Suns. So, he signed the contract to stay with them again. And I think that was a very good decision by the Suns. They've been making some pretty good decisions lately. So this new GM, he just got hired, I believe, right? He just became the owner. I think he just became the owner like a year ago, and he's already been doing fantastic moves. So that's awesome to see. Next, this one had to have been probably my number one. Would I say it's my number one? Let me look at the other signings here real quick. If I would consider that the number one, yeah. This for me for day one of free agency, this was the number one craziest thing that happened, and that was Bruce Brown signed a 2-year, $45 million contract to go to the Indiana Pacers. That's right, Bruce Brown's going to the Indiana Pacers, and First off, I'm happy he got his money, because he deserved it. But my second opinion on this is, why the Pacers? You could have gone to, frankly, any team you really wanted to, because everyone was looking at Bruce Brown being like, oh, I would love to sign him. There was like talks of him possibly going to New York, I think like Los Angeles, the Miami Heat, like all the top teams, like the Nuggets obviously too, trying to bring him back. There was a lot of top like championship teams that wanted him. But instead, he went to the Pacers, which, listen, that I don't mean to disrespect you guys like this. It's just like, you guys aren't I wouldn't consider you championship contenders right now. So why would he go to a team like that just to stay in this rebuild phase? It's cool, you're going to have Tyrese Halliburton, and I'm sure they'll work amazing. You got Chris Duarte. No, they don't have Sabonis anymore. He's on the Kings now. Who do they have right now? No, this is the Nuggets. Why are they bringing him to the Nuggets? Here we go. Indiana Pacers. They have, obviously I already mentioned Tyrese, Chris Duarte. They got Serge Ibaka. He's pretty good. They got Buddy Hield, TJ McConnell, Miles Turner. I like Miles Turner as a center. I know they've been trying to trade him. I don't know if they're still doing that, if they decided like they'll keep Miles Turner, but he's pretty good. Oh yeah, they got Jarris Walker, which I like him as a player, Ben Shepherd. Like, they have some good players, but not players I would consider like this will bring them a championship or make them like the best playoff team in their conference. Like, I don't really see that. So I'm just a bit confused as to why he would do that. Maybe it's because it could just really go down to they gave him the best offer. Like maybe I guess you could say the most money out of the teams that offered. I'm not too confident on that answer though, because there's no way the Nuggets didn't offer him way more than 45 million. Now they do have a lot of players as well under contract, so maybe they didn't have enough money left over. So who knows? But yeah, he went to the Indiana Pacers. So that was very shocking to see. I know let's see. Actually no, that's all about Bruce Brown. Let's moving on. Next we had Troy Brown Jr. has agreed to sign with the Minnesota Timberwolves, he was formerly on the Los Angeles Lakers and now is going to go over there to Minnesota. So nice for him, Troy Brown here. This past season, he averaged 7 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and he was 43% in field goals. Now, I don't know much about Troy, but with my friends that are Lakers fans, they have said that, they're a little bit sad because he was a really good role player for them. So I guess that's a huge loss for the Lakers. Next, I would consider the second biggest, craziest thing that happened in free agency. Jeremy Grant signed a 5-year, that's right, 5-year, $160 million contract. This was also very crazy. Now, well, the news just broke out of what I told you guys, so now the story is completely different, but now I'm really confused as to why they're doing this. And maybe there's a good idea as to, now I can understand why they gave him that contract. So, let's go by first what we knew beforehand. Damian Lillard had said, and Damian Lillard and the organization had said, like, oh, we decided that we're going to work this out and, try to make this right. So Damian Lillard demanded, like, they need to get a bunch of players that he wants in order to become good. So they were like, all right, no problem. So they signed Jeremy Grant because that was a big thing that Dame wanted. But to sign him for $160 million, now that's crazy. I'm sorry, Jeremy, but I don't know if you're worth 160. Now, good on you. Like I said, back to what I said. If they offer you this, you sign it instantly. So good on you for getting 160. But the Trailblazers, come on. You thought he was worth that much? Are you insane? Like, I don't even know how much space they have left now to get other players. And then this goes right back to maybe why they did this. I don't know. Oh, wait, no, I don't think they can trade Jeremy Grant since they just signed him back. But anyway, now we know the news about Damian Lillard, how it's so annoying with the Damian Lillard situation because it was just back and forth, and now we're hearing that he's officially requesting a trade. So as to where he probably hear my stepdad, I apologize for that, but as to where he's going, I have no idea. I know there's obviously some huge names out there. Right now, from what people are saying, it looks like the Heat, the Brooklyn Nets, and I think I saw somewhere about the Clippers being potential, like, people that might want him. Now, for me, obviously, I would love the Knicks to try to get him, see if they could trade something for him. We got players we could probably trade, aka Julius Randle. But anyway, we'll move on from that. It's just crazy how now they're finally going to trade him. I've been saying how they should just trade him. It was just annoying how they're like, oh, we're not going to trade him. Oh, actually, we are going to trade him. Oh, actually, scratch that. We're not going to trade him. It just came out now too. That apparently the likely option everyone's saying is the Miami Heat that he'll be traded to. So that's going to be interesting to see who's going to get traded for him. I don't know who it could be. They got a lot of young guys that could definitely be worth the Trailblazers' time. Something like a Tyler Hero or a Duncan Robinson, something of that sorts. But yeah, like I said, that was crazy. I can't believe he just requested it again. But moving on. Next, we have Javon Carter. He signed a 3-year, $20 million contract with Chicago Bulls. I don't know much about Carter here. Let's see. He averaged 8 points. He had 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He's fairly young. He's 27 years old. So he's still pretty good for his age. So who knows? Maybe that'll be a good pickup for the Bulls to help them somewhat try to go back to being playoff contenders again, like they were. What was it, 2 years ago? Let's see. We got this other guy, another player that signed with the Suns on a 1 year deal. His name is Chimenzi. I want to say Chimenzi signed with them. Next we have George. I'm gonna say Niang. George Niang signed a 3-year, $26 million contract to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's see George here. George had 8. Oh, I know this guy. I saw him live when he faced the Knicks. Now, he's pretty good. I think that'll be a very good pickup by the Cleveland Cavaliers because they really need some more three-point shooting and just more shooters after that series they had against the New York Knicks. So that was a very smart move by them. Next up, we have Kyrie Irving, which he agreed to a 3-year, $126 million contract to stay with the Dallas Mavericks. So yeah, that was a good that was good on the Mavericks. I mentioned in the last episode how that was something they really need to focus on, is bringing Kyrie back, because that would be horrible if they don't bring him back. So now they don't have to worry. He's going to be here for 3 years. Well, quote unquote, he'll be here for 3 years until he requests to leave again. So at least you guys know you have him for a little bit longer than you expected. So hopefully him and Luka can do something. But you guys still need to get some more defense. This is not going to help you guys at all. Even when he was playing, you guys still lack defense. That center you guys got in the draft could definitely help a lot. But keep getting more defensive players. Next, we have Jakob Poto, I think is how you say his name. He agreed to a 4-year, $80 million contract to stay at the Toronto Raptors. Another good signing here. He's actually a fairly good player. I actually like Jakob. And the Raptors getting him back is very good. They really are trying to get as many of their players back as they can, which, they might have not gotten everyone back, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes. Next is Chris Middleton. He went back to the Milwaukee Bucks. He signed a 3-year, $102 million contract. Now, this one, as you guys know, I had mentioned it, that it's not a good signing, in my opinion, by the Bucks. Chris Middleton, he can be a good player, but I was really hoping that he would go on to another team and maybe be somewhere that he could be fun to watch. Yeah, he's fun to watch on the Milwaukee Bucks. That is understandable. I just thought maybe they should try to go with somebody else in that position instead of bringing back Chris Middleton. But instead, they signed him back, and they signed him for $102 million. And I personally don't think he's worth that much. But again, he is a good player. I think he's a former All-Star. I could be wrong on that, but I think he's a former All-Star. Can I check here? No, that's not what I want there. I guess I can't look at it. I don't know if he's been an All-Star. I want to say he's an All-Star, but he averaged 15 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. It's just looking at it here, this was actually, I think he was injured this past season. Yeah, I believe he was injured, but other than that, he has been doing pretty well at getting 20 points, at least averaging 20 in a season. It's just, I don't know, I thought maybe they could try to find someone a little bit better than Chris Middleton, but maybe it just wasn't anyone left they could have signed. So understandable by them trying to bring him back. And they have great chemistry with him and Giannis and the rest of the team, so why tarnish that to get some new guy where you have to go all the way back to trying to get that chemistry again? So I guess I could see why they did that. Next was Cameron Johnson, who signed a 4-year, $108 million contract, and this was really, really good by the Brooklyn Nets. This was great that they got him back. Cameron Johnson is a great player. I'm very happy that he's with the Brooklyn Nets. He did really well with them. Right here, he got traded during the middle of the season, so we haven't seen as much. Like, we haven't seen a full year with him on the Brooklyn Nets, so that's going to be really exciting to see. I can't wait to see that. Here with the Brooklyn Nets, he averaged 17. He averaged 17 points. He had 2 assists, 1 steal. What about rebounds? He had 5 rebounds. His field goal was 47%. He was doing pretty well with the Brooklyn Nets, and I expect him to do even better next season. Great signing by them. I'm really happy they didn't, let him just walk in free agency. So great on the Nets. Next, we have Trey Jones, who agreed to sign a 2-year, $20 million deal with the San Antonio Spurs. Again, it goes back to what I was talking about in previous episodes of, if I'm a player, I'm going to want to go with, Victor and try to play with him, because he's definitely about to go crazy. And once he gets the guys around him, you can expect some championships coming his way. Now, am I overhyping him? Yeah. But the reason why I'm putting him on this kind of, this ceiling of championships already is because that's what everyone's projecting him. So if you are considered to be this amazing, great player, then I expect you to get at least 1 championship, or 2 if you're able to. So I'm going to keep you on that ceiling. If you don't get any championships, then I would consider you a flop when it comes to a number 1 pick. Now, moving on to the next thing here. If my screen can stop messing up. Let's see. Here we go. Gabe Vincent agreed to a 3-year, $33 million contract to go to the Los Angeles Lakers. And this, I would say, is great by both sides. Los Angeles Lakers finally got a good point guard that they can use. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell, I would still consider him a pretty good point guard. But unfortunately, the last 2 times he's been to the playoffs, he just hasn't been there, So they, at least this way, they got a point guard in Gabe that they know for sure will be great in the playoffs, and will really help the Lakers, and especially LeBron trying to get another championship. So great signing. And for Gabe, this is awesome. I don't know if he was one of the guys that was like undrafted in the playoffs, because I know the Miami Heat had a lot of players that were like that. But now you can, I think it was definitely worth it. $33 million. So good on both sides. Next, we had Joe Ingles. He signed a 2-year, $22 million contract to go with the Orlando Magic. I don't really have an opinion on this. Just, I guess good on him. Make sure to go to Universal and Disney World. I would love to go back to Universal. Universal Studios was such a fun place. I went there once because, I'm not rich, unfortunately. So the time we went, my mom got me and my sister tickets, which is really cool. And we went with our grandma, and that was fun. We went on a lot of different rides. I was so excited for the Harry Potter section. We didn't go to like the Adventures thing. It was just literally just Universal Studios. So we saw a lot of the characters there, though it was still during COVID. So we weren't able to we had to keep a distance from the characters and stuff. We had to, all that stuff. But then, I won't get too much into it. But yeah, they had rules and stuff there still. Because this was still during, I would say, the middle of it. Like, we were, it was during when we were getting better. And, the pandemic was almost over. But, it was still a thing. So we had to keep our distance. But it was fun regardless. And I'm sure Joe's going to have a lot of fun. Or maybe he's a Disney World guy. So that too. You can go hang out with Mickey. Now, moving on. We have Shake Milton. He agreed to a 2-year, $10 million contract to go with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Interesting signing by the Timberwolves. I don't really know how I feel about Shake. I also saw him live play with the 76ers. He's not like a player where I'm like, oh my God, he's the best of all time. No, he's just, he's a pretty good player. That's all I have to say. Good on him. Let's try to go rapid fire on some of these until I find like one that you guys are probably interested in. So Herbert Jones, he signed a 4-year, $54 million contract to stay with the New Orleans Pelicans. The Miami Heat agreed to deals with... the Miami Heat had agreed deals to bring back Josh Richardson. I said Josh Hart, Jesus. And Kevin Love, so that's cool. Julian Champagne, I think it's Champagne, has agreed to a 4-year, $12 million contract to go with the San Antonio Spurs. Rui Hachimura agreed to a 3-year, $51 million contract to go back to the Los Angeles Lakers. That was very good on the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm glad they were able to bring back Rui. They're still, at this time I'm recording, they are still trying to get Austin Reeves, though I know one of the big teams that want him is the Spurs, and that would be fun to see him on the Spurs. So it's just, the Lakers, I'm sure, are worried because they don't know if they're going to bring back Austin Reeves. So, we'll keep an update on that, but that was really good of them getting Hachimura back. Next is another big signing, which was Fred VanVleet. He agreed to a 3-year, $130 million contract to go to the Houston Rockets. Now, there was reports a few days prior that the Rockets were potentially trying to get Fred, and that contract, I think, was like $100 million that they were going to try to give him. As we can see, there was way more. And people were like, oh my God, is he actually going to go to the Rockets? Would he go to the Rockets? And I wasn't against the idea. He was going to be there with a bunch of young guys, because he's still fairly young himself, but he has that championship experience that could really help a team like the Rockets. And the Rockets have been doing some good moves as well. I'm excited to see where the Rockets go. Hopefully this is a season where we can maybe see him in the play-in at least. So yeah, that's nice on them. Cam Reddish is going to go to the Lakers on a 2-year deal. Dennis Schroeder he's going to the Toronto Raptors. Seth Curry has agreed to a 2-year deal with the Dallas Mavericks. If I remember correctly, wasn't he on the Mavericks before? I think he was on the Mavericks. Yeah. Oh wow, he's been on he's had a weird career with the Mavericks. First time he was there was the 2016-2017 season. Then he went to Portland. Then he went to the Mavericks again, but ended up going to the 76ers for 2 years. Then I think he got traded to the Nets, and now he's back with the Mavericks. So this is the 3rd time he's been on the Mavericks. So hey, maybe 3rd time's the charm, and he'll actually stay with them this time. And so he's no new player when it comes to the Mavericks, and I'm sure the organization is very happy to bring him back. I'm sure Luka's happy to bring him back. Another good player on their team. The Boston Celtics have signed O'Shai Brissett on a 2-year contract. The Nuggets are bringing back Reggie Jackson and DeAndre Jordan. Good on them. The Memphis Grizzlies have agreed to sign Derrick Rose to a 2-year contract. I was disappointed. I was really hoping the Bulls try to get him, but I guess that's life. I was kind of hoping he can go there and spend his last years with them, but I guess the Bulls didn't want him. Either that or the Grizzlies just had a better contract that Rose wanted. The Wizards have agreed to trade guard Monte Morris to the Detroit Pistons for a 2nd-round pick. So again, more trades happening. The Miami Heat have agreed to trade Victor Oladipo to the Oklahoma City Thunder for draft compensation. Interesting. Okay. So Victor's going back to the Thunder. Wasn't he drafted in the Thunder? Hold on. I'm pretty sure Victor Oladipo was drafted to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oh no, he wasn't drafted, but he was there 1 year. So okay, I guess that's cool. Tyrese Halliburton has agreed to a 5-year maximum contract extension that will be worth up to $260 million. Great decision by the Pacers. Good job on Tyrese for getting that. He deserves all the money. He is a great point guard, and I can't wait to see the future with him and the Pacers and what exactly they do. And now they also have Bruce Brown, so clearly the Pacers have decided, all right, no more NBA draft, no more being at the bottom. This is their time to shine and go back to being playoff contenders. Last time they were playoff contenders, I think, was when Paul George was still there. So yeah, they're trying to go back to being like that good. So hopefully we can see that. It's just overall, like, the East is just becoming crazy, man. I'm really worried for my New York Knicks because all these teams are signing really good players. and hopefully they can just stay at the top 4 or at least top 6 so we can be in the playoffs every year. Now, this next one was really, really crazy, and that was oh, actually, this was earlier today. Oh, okay. I won't talk about the rest then. The rest I will talk about in the day 2 of free agency. That was actually day 2 on here. My apologies, but I already read it, so it is what it is. Because technically it was 12:19 a.m., so this was late at night. So I'm just gonna count that one. I won't say the other one. I'll wait till next episode to talk about day 2, because day 2 is happening currently right now as recording, and I would like to talk about everything in the next podcast. So yeah, we'll end it off that, and yeah, I'll say that this will conclude episode 6 of the What's Next on Basketball podcast. These next couple episodes will probably be very short, just because I'm only really going to talk about free agency. And as I said before, once free agency is over, I am going to talk about the CBA and everything that's going on with it. And if you guys haven't read it, I would suggest on your own time reading it. But remember, this is like an actual contract thing, so it's very professional. It's like 560 pages, so I'm gonna try to skim through that and read all of it and try to figure out what exactly is going on here. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. Appreciate you guys for listening. As always, please make sure to share the podcast with anyone you know. It really helps a lot. And yeah, just stay tuned for episode 7, guys. See ya.